Brian, are you sure that this is okay?
Of course, Gillian, it's perfectly fine.
But what if Mark catches us?
No. Mark knows all about us. It's perfectly safe. Come on, you know you want to do this. It'll be fun.
Okay, I mean, I know Mike doesn't mind, so I guess it's safe for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's go into the recording studio. New co-host editions for the WizardCast don't happen all the time.
Let's rock this.
Hey, who locked this door? And why is my key not working?
I'm Brian Kwong.
And I'm Mark Ross.
We're Salesforce experts that love talking about technology and Salesforce.
We also love humor. Doesn't mean we're actually good at it.
In the Salesforce community, I'm known as the Salesforce Wizard, likely due to me wearing a wizard hat at Salesforce events.
And I'm known as Salesforce Yoda for pretty much the same reason.
You should see the ears.
We have a passion to help educate and entertain people.
So we've joined forces to create WizardCast.
We've got tips and best practices.
We talk with interesting people.
All mixed with quote-unquote jokes and humor.
Welcome
to the
WizardCast.
What do you call bears with no ears?
I don't know what.
B.
That's terrible. That's really terrible.
But we're supposed to have terrible jokes on this podcast, isn't that right?
Yeah, but I figured, that's usually Mark's fault. So now that you are kind of coming in as the host, I was hoping for better. But that's okay. I'm excited that you're joining me. And for the folks who are listening in, you may have noticed I am joined by Gillian Bruce. She's the senior admin evangelist at Salesforce. You've probably seen her around at Salesforce events, Twitter, and from a little-known podcast called the Salesforce Podcast for Admins. Gillian, welcome to the WizardCast. It's great to have you here as my co-host.
Well, thank you, Brian. It's great to be here. We have a little something coming up pretty soon. It's the Winter '18 release, and the release notes are out. Have you seen it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually really proud that we're going to go take those 358 pages of goodness, right? And I know it takes people some time to get through them, so we're going to release a new segment where Brian reads the release notes.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while, Brian.
Yeah. Winter 18 builds artificial intelligence, parentheses, AI, close parentheses, right into the Salesforce platform so you can build apps that get smarter with every interaction. Salesforce Einstein also powers improved lead scoring, data discovery, duplicate management, and recommendations. Lightning Partner Central extends Salesforce CRM to your partner network, while Lightning Omnichannel helps you route customer service cases to the right agents at the right time.
Okay, Brian, I think I've heard enough Salesforce jargon in the last 3 sentences to last me a lifetime.
But you work at Salesforce. That might be problematic for you, Gillian.
I know, I'm surrounded by it every day. That's why I'm very sensitive to it.
Well, all right, we'll skip the 358 pages. We'll talk about it later. Now it's time to make sure that we thank the people that helped make this episode possible. WizardCast is sponsored by Sheet Cake Anonymous. There's nothing shameful about being addicted to sheet cake. Sheet cake addiction is a growing issue across this nation. Joining a Sheet Cake Anonymous group can help support you through your difficulties. Find a local group and see how the SCA can help you. Must bring your own fork.
That's pretty awesome.
This is refreshing. Mark usually doesn't laugh at my sponsorships.
I'm excited about bringing my own fork to my next SCA meeting.
What's really funny is I actually bought a piece of cake this morning that's currently sitting on my kitchen counter. I was going to open it up and start eating it in front of you without telling you ahead of time, and I completely forgot.
Oh, that would have been awesome. That's all right.
Well, anyways, Gillian, I don't know if you know about this, but there's a little thing called Dreamforce coming up.
Dreamforce? Wait, what? That's coming? I thought we had like a whole other year till that came.
Yeah, I know it happened last year, and a year before that, and a year before that. But I think this is kind of an annual-ish thing.
Oh,
give or take a few
months. That makes sense. Okay, well then that explains why I'm behind on everything in my life right now, because this Dreamforce thing is taking over. Yeah. It's weird how that works.
I heard a rumor that you're actually one of the people responsible for keeping track of the admin track.
Keeping track of the admin track. Yes, I have a fair amount to do with that. So the one and only Mike Gerholtz is actually leading the entire admin track this year, and I get to own the admin theater, which is about 55 sessions of content. Yes.
What is the admin theater? Is that like kabuki theater?
Oh, no, but there may or may not be some karaoke in the theater at some point. Forward-looking statement. So the admin theater is, we're going to be in the first floor of Moscone West again, same location as we were last year, of a whole kind of trailhead area with developer and admins and now some community and some other aspects. By the way, you're getting some very first level information here, inside scoop, because you got me right.
Exclusive on the WizardCast?
A WizardCast exclusive, yes. So we have the entire first floor of Moscone West again, and that's where we're going to have our developers area, our admins area. And we have, kind of the shining star of the admins area is the admin theater. And we've got 55 different sessions of content that are going to be happening in the admin theater. They're all 20 minutes each. We've got all kinds of different content from beginner to advanced. We have stuff about lightning migration. We have stuff about equality. We have content about building customizations with the Lightning App Builder. We have even some more advanced content about, how learning Sokol can help you build even better reports for admins. So kind of the whole gamut
Sokol?
there. Sokol? I don't know.
Soquel?
Soquel?
SOQL?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure that it was what I thought it was. Soko sounds like something that's like in Southern California.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like one of those like drinks you're not supposed to drink. It's like energy and bad stuff in it. Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And we have a lot of really fun stuff planned too. So, we've got like a process automation showdown that Jennifer Lee is running. We're going to have 2 sessions of that. So we're going to have some live competition going on.
I wonder why I'm not in that.
She had a call for presenters. I don't know, Brian.
I must have missed it. Jennifer.
Okay.
Jen. I'm hurt.
It's almost unfair for you to participate in something like that, though, Brian. Like it's like, look, the Hall of Famer coming in to the rookie game.
I like my competitions where it's skewed in my favor because it's embarrassing to lose otherwise. I provide only the best competition. So we're gonna have 1,100 minutes of admin theater goodness.
That's some impressive math skills right there. Jeez.
That's called a calculator. Benefits of having a computer when you record your podcast. 1,100 minutes. And so if I wanted to make sure that I get space, right, or seat, I mean, how does the admin theater work? I mean, I know other sessions you actually have to go in and refresh and hope that you can get in or walk in or seat or reserve your seat. How does the admin theater work?
Admin theater is completely open seating. So the reason that we kind of have shorter sessions in the admin theater, because there's a lot going on in the area. And so it's a great place for kind of sit down, watch a session. And if you want to stick around for the next session, we're going to actually group the content by theme this year. So there's going to be kind of a natural progression. So if you're sitting in on a session, it's the first time you've ever seen lightning, stick around because that next session is going to talk more about that and kind of get a little bit more in detail. So it's you don't have to sign up for it. All the sessions will be listed in Agenda Builder. You can bookmark them, but you can't, reserve a seat or whatnot. You can make friends and camp out there all day if you want. That's totally great. You won't be bored.
What I do. I'm either speaking or I'm there. Since it's going to be in the Agenda Builder, and but you can't reserve, so you can bookmark it. Mm-hmm. Which means for those of you who are extremely organized, as in people who are not like me, you may want to make sure you build out your own calendar so you don't miss any admin sessions that you absolutely wanted to go to at the theater. Because if you rely solely on Agenda Builder, you may miss out on those sessions.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really, like I said, it's the intention is to have people kind of walk by and be like, hey, what is that on the screen over there? Let's go to walk over there and check it out and sit in for the rest of the session.
You know what you should totally do, Gillian? You should get a couple people wearing those fancy little straw hats with the band over it and maybe like the red and white vests and do like the carnival kind of like call out to bring awareness and get
Come on
crowds
down
to
and
come in.
check out the admin theater.
Yeah.
Show starts in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
you're Sue in the blue suit. You know you want to come in and learn all about lighting components. Come on down. Open seats right here. We have plenty of room.
Well, we do have some professional MCs that we've hired to help us keep the vibe alive. So I think they will be doing a little bit of that, which will be really fun.
I still want to see them in costumes now.
I mean, Brian, if you're looking for something to do at Dreamforce, sounds like a great idea you just came up with. I think you'd look great in one of those little outfits.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
I love it.
I don't mind. It might look a little weird with the wizard hat on top, but yeah, I'll do it. All right, so we got admin theaters going through. We got 1,100 minutes of goodness just at the theater. That's not including any of the other admin tracks that are more, what is it, like 40-minute sessions, I believe, for those?
40-minute sessions, and I believe we've got about 60-ish sessions. I don't know, Mike's going to correct me, I'm sure, but we've got a couple repeats, too, for some sessions we know are going to be really popular. So, those are 40-minute sessions, and those are also going to be an agenda builder very, very soon. So those you can, I believe, put on your agenda.
Does the area have an official name this year? I think last year it was like the Trailhead Zone or something like that, right?
So Trailhead is kind of taken Salesforce by storm, which is an amazing thing. So we no longer have exclusive rights to use Trailhead area. It's not now just Trailhead, because Trailhead is now all of Dreamforce campus. So we are still kind of finalizing what we are technically going to call our area. We may go back to old school and maybe just call the admin zone, developer zone. No promises there, forward-looking statement, safe harbor, all the deal. But you will find out what the official title is soon. But yeah, it's going to be the same physical footprint that we had at Dreamforce last year and at Trailhead DX, if anyone was here for that.
Okay, so that sounds cool. So other than the theater, is there anything going on in that unknown area that does not have an official name? And we need a better phrase for that. Admin related zone to be named later.
To be determined, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anything else going on there that you can share with us right now? Is it still too early to share?
It's a little early to share all the details, but I will give you a few exclusive WizardCast nuggets. Ooh. And most of these will not be a surprise, because the last 3 years that we've had an admin presence at Dreamforce, we have had an amazing photographer come and do headshots, professional headshots. So we're going to have an element of that this year as well. There's also going to be a return of the so popular swag wheel that made its debut last year. And so that's going to be bigger and better. And we're going to have more exciting, fun, different swag items to give away. We're going to have more demo booths as well. So we're actually going to have, some content in there about Einstein for admins. We have some really great announcements coming for admins with Einstein, which is pretty exciting. And some more content about helping that migration to Lightning. So, and there'll be more things. We will have the return of the security and trust cafe. As everyone loves free coffee. Ooh, so we're good about bringing that back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also hear rumors that there's going to be kind of a general kind of community lounge zone area that kind of bridges the space between the developer and the admin area, which totally makes sense.
Absolutely.
So if you are just looking for a place to come relax, plug in your laptop, hang out, kind of be surrounded with content without having, feeling like you need to run between sessions, this is going to be the place we really want people to hang out and feel like they have a home.
Yeah, I absolutely love the headshots. I get mine every single year because, one, they make great chatter photos. So if you don't have one in the success community or perhaps your company's or organization's org, it is an absolutely fantastic way because they look crisp, they look professional. And, it's because you're dressed for success at Dreamforce anyways, and you might as well get your headshot taken and have it available. It's also great for other purposes, like snipping out the pictures and putting it over other people's heads when you don't feel that you're in enough Salesforce marketing or, oh wait, I don't think I need to go into that. That's a little too much information.
I was going to say, Brian, what have you been doing over there? Little Photoshop action?
A little Photoshop action, yeah, a little bit. Making me look like I can actually surf, even though I've never been on a surfboard in my life.
But you've done lots of web surfing, so I think that's legitimate.
I feel bad that I have not been in a Trailblazer photo yet, and so I've been kind of like snipping my hat onto people for amusement.
Well, you got to bring the hat this year and get your official.
I bring the
photo.
hat every year. Every year.
Oh, yes, I know that.
Because no one knows who I am without it, pretty much.
It is. I do remember the first time I saw you without the hat, and I was kind of confused.
Yes.
I was like, who is this guy who's talking to me? I don't understand.
You accused me of hiding because I think I was wearing a certified or Salesforce One hat at the time instead. I was incognito.
It's very off-putting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the experience of 1 year at Dreamforce where I was just shocked how many people wanted to come up and introduce themselves and talk to me. And then the hat's really hot. So I sat down in the lounge and took the hat off and no one talked to me for like 45 minutes. And then I put the hat back on and everyone came back up. It was really bizarre. It was like, people don't know me. They know the hat. It's fine.
Well, that's the way it works.
It is.
You create identity and then you take away that identity. People get lost.
Yes. So, all right. That's enough about Dreamforce. People know it's coming up November 6th to the 9th. If you're registered, that's great. If you're not registered, you want to get in really quick because I know a lot of hotel space has been filling up. The good news is even if you get stuck having to be across the bay, there is nice mass transit. And you can plan to basically just sleep across the bay, bring enough stuff to last during the day so you don't have to go back to your hotel during the day. It's not ideal, but it's definitely doable. And we'll probably talk more about Dreamforce tips coming up.
BART's easy, Muni's easy. They're going to have shuttles between all the hotels as they always do. So, and it's going to be a great time to be in San Francisco. Early November especially is like one of the best weather times of the year for us. Gorgeous. So, yeah. I mean, still bring your layers, right?
Oh, yeah. Because you never know when the fog is going to come rolling in.
Correct. Or the rain. It just happens.
So
but
we joked that I was going to read all 358 pages of the release notes.
Please don't do that.
And, with the exception maybe the last couple of releases, I actually do that. As a matter of fact, I usually print them out and then sit down with a set of highlighters and go through and highlight the things that I think are going to be important for me or, in my case, my customers. And then, either regurgitate that back up for our user group meetings or to our very customers, depending on what it is. But that's not for everyone. Not only is it, I feel bad when I print out 350 some pages because I don't think I've ever seen a release notes that was under 350. It is a lot of paper to go through. And there's other ways to get ready for a Salesforce release.
There are lots of ways to get ready for the release. And, I think you prepare for the release much like Mike Gerholt does in terms of printing things out in highlighters. Mm-hmm. I'm too much of a tree hugger, San Francisco born and raised, to do that to our friendly trees who make the paper for us. Actually, I print stuff out all the time. That's a total lie. But I don't print out all 350 something pages of the release notes. And actually, I'm in the process right now of putting together some release readiness resources for admins, which is very exciting. So I can share some of my top things that I think are going to be really exciting in the release.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. So the first thing that I think is just super, super exciting, if anyone's used Lightning App Builder, we have this amazing kind of drag and drop capability with components to drag different elements onto the page. So report charts or related lists or even, stuff from the App Exchange like Jumbotron where you could put like a GIF and like a silly, hyperlink in there because there may be some of us who do that in our demo orgs just for fun. But one thing that we've got coming with Winter is we have something called dynamic pages. It's a pilot coming, which basically means you can set rules for when a component will display on a page based on the data on that record, which is pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
So and I like this too, especially for people who are more admin and like more point and click versus Cody, because if you think about it, a really good use case that I actually saw Eric Jacobson, who's the product manager for this feature, demonstrate in an internal meeting the other day was, say you've got an account record page and you've got, certain parameters set around what defines a VIP customer or not. And depending on what, if that specific account page has, the price bracket and a bunch of different kind of settings that you have defined to define them as a VIP, you can now have like a component that pops up right there on the record page that says VIP client. And it sounds really simple, but when you think about all the things you could do with that, you have so much control now to really customize that experience for your end users. It's kind of amazing.
That might actually solve one of my biggest frustrations with Lightning and Flow. Well, one of the frustrations with Lightning and Flow. Whereas if you put the component on the Flow page, it's always there. It's always open. And there's a lot of situations where you don't want a flow to be always open on a page. So that you said that's pilot though. Does that mean is it open pilot, or do we have to ask for it, or how is it going to work?
I believe it's an open pilot, so it's just going to appear. The reason we call it pilot because we don't want people to, there may be some issues with it, right? We want to make sure people like it. There will probably be some adjustments we're going to make before we GA it, but it will be available, and I'll have to double check on if you have to actually sign up for it, because the pre-release orgs that I have already have it in there. Yeah. So
I usually suggest to people to wait for beta or beta or GA. And if anyone actually wants to know the reasons behind that, feel free to reach out to me and ask me about flow triggers.
Yeah. Well, we like to share things as soon as we have a little bit of it out there.
Oh, yeah. No, it makes perfect sense, but it's not for everyone.
No, and you probably shouldn't really use it in your production org yet anyway. This is all like sandbox, fun, developer edition playtime.
All right. So that's dynamic pages coming out in pilot for Winter 18. What else is on your list of favorite stuff?
So this is like really, really simple, but it's a huge game changer. Is you can now do mass inline editing in Lightning for list views, which is really nice.
That is nice.
Well, parody coming back, and it's actually really, really easy to use. It looks beautiful too. Thank you, Lightning Experience. So that's a huge win. Another thing that I think is really exciting is emojis are coming back. So in Chatter, you can now use emojis again. Yay!
Yay! I never
like emojis.
I'm always one of those people where I'm like, emojis don't really fit in a business world for me.
Well, maybe your business world isn't nearly as fun as it should be.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to think of how many times how it would take if I emailed the CEO, founder of a company saying, "Hey, we took care of your issues," smiley face. Just, I think it's not as well accepted as maybe Salesforce organization may have it.
Fair point.
But I'm glad you're excited.
Yeah, I am excited. Well, and this is a very useful thing that's coming with Winter 18. There's a lot, but we also now have the ability to share calendars. So one of the cool things in Lightning is we have this awesome calendar functionality where you can basically view any object that has a date field on a calendar, and you can, overlay multiple objects. It's kind of like another list view, which I think is really cool. Now you can create a calendar and share it with your users. Because before you had to do that individually, there was not a sharing capability. Now there is going to be a sharing capability, which is way more useful when you're talking about calendar. I live off my calendar, so I am super excited about that.
Is that just the calendar with events, or is that like calendar anything?
So this is like, in Lightning, when you select calendar, it's basically a list view. So and you can view any object that has a date field in a calendar view. And now when you create that calendar, you can share that across your organization. It's calendars in Lightning are so my 3 favorite things in Lightning are favorites, which, enable you to basically favorite any record page or dashboard or whatever so that you can easily navigate back to it. And then Kanban, which is an awesome list view feature, and calendar. So those 2 last ones, Kanban and calendar, are really just different ways to view your data in a list view in a much more consumable fashion, because Excel spreadsheets make my head hurt, and traditional list views make my head hurt in a similar way. So, I'm excited about calendar sharing. No. Head hurting is not a good thing.
So, Gillian, you mentioned you're putting together some resources for admins for release readiness, and you mentioned Mike Gerhild and I are kind of in the same team of printing everything out because we're crazy. How do you get ready?
Yeah, so I kind of take a different approach. I like to get into my pre-release org as soon as it's available and literally just start playing around without even kind of going into the release notes. That way I kind of can see what existing things have changed that I, would touch on a normal basis in terms of, or, mass inline editing. Like that was really fun when I discovered that. I mean, I'd heard it was coming, but I need to get in there and get my hands on it in order for me to get excited about it. So I play around with my pre-release org, and then at Salesforce, I spend a lot of time actually going through the different solution overviews that our different product managers prepare for the release. And that is what I use to then create all of the admin release readiness resources for you. So if you don't want to spend a ton of time going through the release notes, what we do is we do a bunch of stuff. We have a release readiness live session just for admins where we're going to have 3 different PMs come in and talk to us about some of the very cool things happening, like with App Builder or the Einstein Builder, which is going to be amazing. And they're going to it's about a 45-minute session that we do live. So I believe that happens towards the end of September. So that'll be a great overview. We also will do a blog post kind of highlighting some of our favorite features. And then I know we're doing a bunch of other stuff, but what we're trying to do is highlight some of our favorite things coming in winter that we think are important for admins and kind of give you many different options to consume the information. There's also a lot of different people in the community write great blog posts about stuff that they're excited about. So that's always a good way to get kind of a taste of what's coming. So I'm a much more kind of get in there and play around with stuff and then talk about it from that perspective.
So you mentioned a pre-release org.
Yeah.
What's a pre-release org and where can I get one?
So pre-release org is a way that you can go and play with the new release before you will even get it in your sandbox or before it will hit your production org. And it's totally free. And it's something that you can get access to. The best way probably to find it is to go in the success community under the release readiness group. And there was a link in the info section to help to get you to sign up for a pre-release org. Now, fun fact, you can keep that pre-release org as long as you like. And every release, when the pre-release is available, it's in that org. So you don't have to sign up for a new one each release.
Yeah, I think that's true if you sign up for the developer version of the pre-release org. I think if you order like a specific edition, like professional or enterprise edition, that it doesn't necessarily stay forever.
Yeah, this is true. Developer edition orgs don't expire, but the other ones do. So very good point to make there, Brian.
Get a developer org. Or 2.
Yeah.
Or like me, I think I'm on 15 or 16. I've lost track.
That's it?
I've mentioned I've lost track. It's really sad. The way that I remember where I've put things is I wait for we're about to turn off your developer org unless you sign in. Which reminds me, I need to go sign in on a couple of developer orgs. Yeah, I got things all over the place.
Well, and then you probably have only 100 different success community profiles?
Yeah, if you count the number of ones that I accidentally created because I was logged in as a customer or something along those lines. Yeah, I got a lot.
Yeah. I tend to rack up at least one a week. That's always fun.
Okay, so it sounds like Winter 18 is going to be really interesting. Another very lightning-heavy release, which is not surprising.
Lightning is the future, Brian. This is where it is all going.
You've heard my thoughts on this. I like the idea of lightning. I'm waiting for it to push out a little bit more. There's still a lot of things I think for some people where it just won't work for them yet, even though there's some really cool features in there that I absolutely love. The biggest problem I have is I have to run into low Wi-Fi conditions, and then Lightning Experience doesn't work as well because you're having to load all those JavaScript libraries up front. And sadly, that's, like at Dreamforce. Like when I'm on the Wi-Fi at Dreamforce, I can't use Lightning Experience when I'm on the generic, for all attendees because the bandwidth is just not there. Classic is slow, but it does eventually load.
Yeah, well, so a lot of that too is going to get better. So a lot of we had a lot of resources dedicated to performance for the summer release and the upcoming winter release because we do recognize that that's frustrating. Hey, I go in to teach a workshop of 120 people, and when half of them are just constantly spinning, waiting for the page to load, that's not fun. No. So we totally recognize. I do think with winter there's going to be some enhancements for performance, which will be nice, and we'll see them in action at Dreamforce. Yeah. But I get you. I get you on the performance stuff.
It's I'm not gonna. I don't poo-poo saying no one should be using Lightning because that's silly. You have to really make a determination what's best for your org at the time, and sometimes it's a simple issue of the fact that you're using features that are not Lightning ready, or you don't have the resources to say replace all the URL hacks with quick actions and components that you should, or you don't have the resources to do the training that you need to because. Let's face it, it's kind of like doing a light implementation for some companies because it is a massive change for people. And then there's other companies and other orgs where it just makes sense just to move now. We have some that are Sales Cloud only, and there's no reason to stay in Classic.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things that I taught probably 15 different Lightning Now tours, which is we go into a city and teach a 2-day free course where it's first day is all product managers talking about Lightning and roadmap and different feature deep dives. And then the second day is a workshop where in the morning I teach a declarative part of the workshop. And then in the afternoon, we have a developer evangelist teach a programmatic. And our content is totally focused on how do you migrate that stuff you've got in Classic over to Lightning. And in terms of URL hacks and JavaScript buttons, there's some really cool stuff coming in Winter 18 to help ease the pain with that in terms of Visual Force stuff and Lightning. So stay tuned. In fact, the whole programmatic section that we usually teach on these tours, we have to completely change the content on now. So we built this awesome Trailhead project that now we totally have to change because that's the way we do. We grow. But one of the things we talk about is that, when you're thinking about Lightning, this is not an immediate thing. This is, you got to run that readiness check, run it, every week, every couple of weeks, whatever you kind of prepare. Check. Yeah.
And people don't know about it. You need to go into setup and look in your left-hand sidebar because right where it says all about Lightning, you click into it, there's a place for you to get a readiness report. And it can be around 60 pages, but it'll go through and say, hey, here's the things based on what we can tell that you're using that you need to consider when you're moving over. Here's some potential links or URLs that may not work, not necessarily that it won't work, but you need to take a look at. I absolutely love that Lightning. I've actually used it not just for Lightning readiness, but when we ever have a customer that's about to move instance, it's a nice way to find out the potential things that are going to break because they hard coded their instance.
Oh, no hard coding. But yeah, it's a great way to audit because use that in combination with the optimizer report and you've got like all of the data you need about your org. It's kind of awesome. Yeah. But yeah, we recommend people run that report regularly as you're getting ready for, even if you do that for like a year, just as you're getting prepared, it's totally acceptable. And the way that we work, right? Yeah. We release 3 times a year. So every time you're going to get more stuff.
I say you should run it after every single release. Yeah. Assuming you're not already using Lightning.
Right. Well, the fun part, for the last year, if you were a net new customer, you automatically get Lightning. Right. So what we're seeing now is some new customers who've come on only in Lightning land and they're loving it. And so it's funny, when I talk to them and I'm used to like having my whole spiel about like, this is how you prepare to migrate and blah, blah, blah. Like, oh no, we're already in Lightning. Oh, it's amazing. And I think what we're starting to see too is that there is there's some really exciting, awesome features that, we're developing in Lightning that of course you cannot access in Classic. And I feel we're starting to see some people be like, oh, actually that's enough for me to like get some resources to make that jump over to Lightning because I want calendar, I want to use Kanban, or I want to use Path on custom objects. Like those are really Path. Key things.
Love Path.
Yeah.
All right. Anything that you would like to add here? Because we didn't script out how I was going to end this.
Well, Brian, I just wanted to thank you so much for having me on the podcast because I do listen to the WizardCast all the time, and it is very cool. I feel very special that you asked me to be here. And, we'll wish Mark well, but, he's got some competition, so.
Pretty stellar competition.
Yeah, and thanks, seriously, thank you, and thank you to Mark for all of the incredible work that you do for the community and giving back. Both of you have been giving back for so long, and it's just, that's the most special part about being able to do what I do is meeting people like you guys who really, really care so much about giving back and sharing your knowledge. And so thank you.
And with that, WizardCast is produced by Brian Kwong and Gillian Bruce, directed by Brian Kwong and Gillian Bruce, technical administration by Brian Kwong and Gillian Bruce, script writing by Brian Kwong and Gillian Bruce, audio editing by Brian Kwong and Gillian Bruce, website maintenance by Brian Kwong and Gillian Bruce, and our intern this episode is Mark Ross, who never showed up for work.
That intern, gosh, he's not going to get a job. Send us your interview suggestions, jokes, videos, tips, and feedback to the WizardCast@wizardnews.com or head on over to thewizardnews.com and click Contact WizardCast.
Oh, that's so smooth. You're so much better than Mark. Don't forget to subscribe to the WizardCast and receive our next episode automagically.
Please post reviews on iTunes and share this episode.
Once again, I'm Brian.
And I'm the new Mark Ross.
Thanks for listening.
Hello? Brian? Anyone?